Hello guys, this is Steno for All YouTube channel. Here we provide you Hindi or English shorthand dictations at different speed. Today I am going to provide you English dictation at this. Get ready for 160 word per minute shorthand dictation. Start. From the ramparts of the Red Fort on Independence Day, the Prime Minister declared that the government is considering raising the legal age of marriage for girls, which is currently 18 years. He said, "We have formed a committee to ensure that daughters are no longer suffering from malnutrition and they are married off at the right age. As soon as the report is submitted, appropriate decisions will be taken about the age of marriage of daughters." The committee in question is the task force set up on June 4, announced earlier by the finance minister in her budget speech. It is widely understood but not officially stated that the task force is meant to produce a national for raising the minimum age of marriage for women to 21, thus bringing it on a par with that for men. Population control. Since there is no obvious constituency that has been demanding such a change, the government seems to be motivated by the belief that simply raising the age of marriage is the best way to improve the health and nutritional status of mothers and their infants. Because it flies in the face of available evidence, we need to ask where this belief is coming from. One plausible sources could be those who advocate for population control and who are influential and whose research is well funded. Consider, for example, an article published in the prestigious journal The Lancet Child and Adolescent Health by Nugent, Scott, Newpain, Tran and Menon on May 15, 2019. It was founded by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. This article analyzes data on stunting in children and thinness in mothers as measures of undernourishment in the latest round of the National Family Health Survey for 2015-16. The paper uses rigorous methods to chase a flawed hypothesis. The authors examine the strength of the association between different causal factors: the mother's age at childbearing, her educational level, living conditions, health conditions, decision making power, and so on, and the health status of mother and child. As it turns out, the poverty of the mother plays the greatest role of all by far, both in relation to her undernourishment and that of her child, but this is not acknowledged. The authors only concede that their cross-sectional design using data from a single time period reduces causal inference. For example, becoming pregnant early might lead to reduced education or wealth. However, a woman from a poor background and lower education might be more likely to become pregnant early. In other words, instead of early pregnancy causing malnourishment, they may both be the consequences of poverty. The stated concern of the study was to find ways to break the intergenerational cycle of undernutrition. Surely the best way to go about breaking such a cycle would be to pick the factors that are playing the strongest role in perpetuating it. In this case, it would be to address the poverty of mother, which could be done in a myriad ways, beginning with the most direct method of nutritional programs for girls and women through a range of institutional mechanisms from Anganwadis to school. However, the authors choose to concentrate on delaying the age of pregnancy, even though this is the weakest link of all. In fact, age only begging to have some real significance when pregnancies are delayed to age of 25 and above, which is true of only a minuscule proportion of women in India. The article is unusually generous in its use of the usual scholarly caveats, but leaves itself open to being co-opted by larger agendas driven by the doctrine that overpopulation is the root of all evil in poor countries. declining fertility rates. It is unfortunate that such thinking is finding a home in the highest office of the Indian government. Just a year ago, from the ramparts of the same fort, the Prime Minister bluntly declared that population's explosion was one of India's major problems. As he put it, with an ever increasing population, we have to think, can we do justice to the aspiration of our children? Before a child is born in our home, we must ask if we have prepared ourselves to fulfill the child's needs, or are we going to leave the child to its fates? Perhaps he or his adverts were influenced by the any international reports making alarming predictions about future dystopias that would result if child marriage were not swiftly eliminated in countries like India, which is home to the largest number of underage marriages in the world. It is a pity that those who have the Prime Minister's ear did not bother to seek the advice of our own demographers who have been studying the apparent link between early marriage and escalating fertility rates for decades. As it turns out, dictation has completed. I hope you will like this dictation.